my troopers hopping in this bitch, popping in this bitch. Me and my troopers hopping in this bitch, popping in this bitch. Me and my troopers.
Hello, this is my second time recording this video because my mom wanted to tell me something. So yeah, this is my second time recording this video. So here we go. My name is Mr. J3T, aka Big Sexy, aka the Kentucky Cannon, aka the World Class Badass, aka Chocolate Thunder with Caramel Swirl, aka Black Lightning with peanut butter filling, aka the Instant Classic, aka DJ Big Head, because I'm a DJ by association, if you guys forgot, aka the Timeless One. Yes, your boy is timeless. Timeless. And today we are talking about not a TV show, not a movie, not a video game, but a podcast. A scripted podcast that is produced and starred the hosts from the YouTube channel Good Mythical Morning. So this podcast is named Ronstadt. So it's about who else? Ronstadt. And he finds out that he has this foresight, right? He's able to see all of these different monsters and creatures, right? And he learns later that he also knows how to deal with these monsters and creatures. He knows their weaknesses and their strengths. So at first he thought he was going crazy, especially when he now has this Jamaican voice in his head, who he calls Headvox, or Vox for short. At first he thought he was going crazy. Like, he tried meds, he tried talking to people, and once he found out that he's not crazy, and that all of this crazy monsters and stuff that he was seeing was actually real, that's when he goes out to LA. He gets a job as a 911 operator, but instead of getting like normal 911 operator calls, instead he gets all the crazy people calls. You know, the people that are like, oh, my car is haunted, hey, I'm turning invisible, and all that stuff, right? And most of them are prank calls. Others are just people, paranoid people. But he does get some calls that are real. Like, all of this craziness that are happening to these people are real. And that's when he could tell that they're real, and he helps them to the best of their abilities. Like, for example, in like the first episode, he gets a call from a girl who's getting chased by this shadowy creature, right? And he knows how this shadow creature's weakness is light, so he tells the girl to go to somewhere where light is, and wouldn't you know it, the creature stopped chasing her, and it's gone. So, and another example, he gets a call saying that a dad ate his pet's hamster, right? His pet's, his kid's hamster. And this guy is fearing that he's turning into like a werewolf, essentially. And he and Ronstadt tries to tell this dude, tries to calm him down, tries to reassure him, you know? Calls like that. All of this craziness is actually happening to them, and he tries to help them to the best of his abilities. So, that's the gist of this show. And, I like the characters, you know? I was never really much of a podcast person. I never really sought out to listen to podcasts. This is actually the first one that I ever listened to, the first scripted podcast, in fact, that I listened to, because I was watching a video from a YouTube channel called The Game Theorists, where as the name suggests, they do theories on video games. And in one of their recent videos, the host, Matt Pat, plugged Ronstadt at the end of his video because he thought it was interesting and he wanted to spread the word and tell people about Ronstadt. So I listened to it. I was like, hey, that sounds interesting. So I sought it out, and I really like it so far. Ronstadt, I like him as a character. He can be funny sometimes. He can be clever too. He just has the best like reactions to all of this craziness that he's seeing, to all of these monsters and all of these creatures. He just has some of the best reactions and some of the best lines reacting to all of this that he's seeing, reacting to all of the craziness that he's seeing. Him, Ronstadt, and the Jamaican voice in his head, Headvox, their banter with each other is great. Headvox is actually one of my favorite characters in this series because, like, I like Headvox's vibe. You know, he just seems like such a chill, guy. I guess, like, because he's just a voice, but he's it's a guy voice, so I guess I can call him a guy, even though he's not like a full person, a physical person. He's just a voice, so yeah, I guess I can call him a guy. He just seems like such a chill guy. He also supports Ronstadt in like his personal endeavors. He's just chill, and he's also very supportive to Ronstadt, and that's why Headvox is my favorite. He's chill and he supports Ronstadt. He even helps Ronstadt at one point in particular, which I'll get into soon, but he helps out Ronstadt a lot. One specifically that I really like. One moment where he helps out Ronstadt is like one of my personal favorites, moments between the two. So yeah, he's very supportive for Ronstadt, and yeah, I just love Headvox, and Ronstadt and Vox's interactions and their banter is great. It's gold. I love their banter so much. And Ronstadt himself, he's a cool MC. He's a cool main character. But at first he starts off as a bit of a loner. You know, he's not very talkative. He only has like one person that he legitimately talks to, which is like a bartender at this bar that he goes to. But as the series goes on, we see him start to come out of his shell a little bit. He becomes friends with his coworker, whose name I forget at the moment, but their friendship is very wholesome. His coworker tries to he tries to get to know Ronstadt, get to know his world. He's also very likable and very supportive of Ronstadt too. Like when Ronstadt is telling him all of this, he's not calling Ronstadt crazy or anything. Like he's actually listening to Ronstadt, and he's actually intrigued with Ronstadt's stories, with what Ronstadt has to tell him, and that's cool with him. Like he's not calling him crazy. He's open-minded, and I like their burgeoning friendship. I like their friendship, and plus his coworker's just a cool guy by himself too. He's also very likable and just very endearing, and their friendship is very wholesome. And he also gets a girlfriend named Faye, and they meet at a train station, I believe, and it was either a train or a bus station. I believe it was a train station. And Ronstadt actually goes up and tries to talk to her first, but something magical happens where his eyes just go white, and it kind of gets it's awkward, but they have a proper meeting at a concert because she's the drummer for this band. So they properly have a meeting. They meet, have a meeting like they're at a goddamn business meeting. They properly meet and talk and get to know each other, and she actually gives him her number, which she then proceeds to lose because it got stuck in between a door and the paper ripped. And Headbox remembered the number, and he tells Ronstadt her number. So, yeah, that's one of the moments where Headbox helped Ronstadt. And yeah, that moment made me really like Headbox, because Headbox is just so cool. He's just such a supportive, like, he's just so supporting of Ronstadt, and I love that. So they eventually get closer and they start to date. And it's cool to see Ronstadt make friends and have this relationship with Faye. It's cool to see, well, not see, hear. It's cool to hear Ronstadt being happy. Because with all the stuff that he's being introduced to, it's cool to see Ronstadt like having some semblance of normacy in his life, because the world he's about to get into is about to be crazy. And speaking of crazy, he also meets a witch whose name I also forget, who basically takes Ronstadt under his wing, and she's teaching Ronstadt about magic, because magic exists in this world, about all the different types of creatures and monsters that roam this world that normal people can't see. And she's also telling Ronstadt about the dangers of this world. Specifically, I believe they call it Side C, because there are three different sides to this world, as the witch explains it. There's Side A, where there's all the normal stuff, all the regular people. That's where they're at, Side A. Side B is where all of the mystical monsters and stuff is, right? All the crazy monsters and mystical creatures, that's where Side B is. The stuff that only Ronstadt and people like Ronstadt can see. Then there's Side C, where all the dangerous monsters and all the dangerous people are at. And she not only tells him about that, but she also tells him that he can also do magic, and she's teaching him magic now. So not only does he have his foresight, not only does he know the strengths and weaknesses of these creatures that he's never heard of before, but now he can do magic, and she's teaching him magic, which leads into something big that happens in episode 5. So I want to talk about that briefly. So there will be some minor spoilers, so if you're interested in listening to this podcast, I guess don't listen to this part, but there's going to be some mild spoilers. So episode 5, he learns two spells. It's the second spell. Sorry, I did this, and I did this for the second spell, because I know this is first, but I used it to represent the second spell, because if I didn't, it'll be like this. And I didn't want to flick you guys off. I didn't want to flip you guys off, because I love all you. I don't want to flip you off, so I did this instead. So, I apologize. So, he uses the second spell on... He decides to use the second spell on a guy who's genuinely just being a dick, right? And at first, the spell is harmless. It's a spell that makes it to where every time this guy takes a step, he hears Jamaican music. So it's when Ronstadt does the spell on this same guy again, this dude just explodes. This dude explodes like in a bloody mess. And Ronstadt straight up just killed this dude. Like, he didn't mean to do it, but he still did it. He still killed him. And it's very gruesome. And he runs away from the scene, understandably shook that he killed a person. But he's soon going to realize that he should not have done that, because this wasn't some ordinary guy. He was like a shadow monster, right? Who's employed by the Shadow Master. The Shadow Master, this Shadow Monster is the Shadow Master, one of his boys, right? And even though the Shadow Master didn't really like this particular Shadow Monster much, he realized that he was an important tool that he can use for his goals, right? And it also doesn't help the fact that they're currently being employed by an employer, and they're watching everything that they do. So this death made the Shadow Master look bad in front of his employer. So the Shadow Master's pissed, right? He's like, who has the balls to kill one of us? Oh, hell no, I'm not gonna let this shit slide. So he tries to find the person who killed one of his boys, right? He eventually finds out that it's Ronstadt, that Ronstadt was the guy. And Ronstadt stepped in it. He stepped in it big time. And yeah, Ronstadt, he stepped on it. Ronstadt, ooh boy, you should not have done that. Ooh. And I'm scared because they're probably like Faye and his friend are probably gonna get dragged into this, and I want nothing bad to happen to them because I like them as characters, and they make Ronstadt happy, and I don't want nothing bad to happen to these characters. Oh, I don't want anything bad to happen to them. Oh my god. Oh no. But yeah, so it leads off on a cliffhanger, episode 5, where they find out that Ronstadt was the one that killed one of his boys, and you just know they're going to go after him, trying to kill him, and I do not want his friend or his girlfriend to get involved somehow. And so it's intriguing, but it's also scary, because I want nothing bad to happen to his friend or his girlfriend. I don't want nothing bad to happen to them. I also don't want anything bad to happen to Ronstadt either, because I like him too. But yeah, I just don't want anything bad to happen to them. I don't. No, I just don't. Yeah, they're cool. I like them. But I also like the whole world building too. With side A and side B and side C, we get descriptions of all of this beautiful stuff, right? With all these different like creatures and monsters, we get to see well, why am I saying see? You can't see anything. It's a podcast. We get to hear about all of these different things in side B and side C. We get to hear about basically these marionettes, these puppets, like some Pinocchio type stuff. There's these sentient puppets that Ronstadt encounters. We get like a ghost zombie of like a dead comedian that Ronstadt encounters too. The world building is really good, is really great with this show, with this show, with this series, I should say, and I really like the world building. The characters are also great too. They're very likable and they're very charming and endearing. I like the characters a lot, and yeah, I'm interested to see where this story goes, because apparently there's only going to be 9 episodes and we're on episode 5, so we only got like 4 episodes left. So I'm intrigued to see where this goes. And I don't know if we're going to get a season 2, but yeah, I'm interested to see where this goes next and how Ronstadt's going to deal with these shadow people trying to kill him for killing one of their boys. So I'm interested to see where this goes next, and I highly recommend this show, or podcast, I should say. I gave it 2 thumbs up with a J3T stamp of approval. So yes, I recommend it a lot. It's a great listen. It's also great because it's a podcast, so you can listen to it while you're like doing the dishes or cutting the grass, doing stuff like that. You can just listen to it. You don't have to look at anything, and it's great. I highly recommend it. As for where you can go listen to this, I got an iPhone, and on my iPhone there's like an app called Podcast that I'm listening to, that I'm using to listen to Ronstadt on. So I'm listening to that. I'm listening to Ronstadt on the app on my phone. So if you got an iPhone, just go to like your podcast app and look up Ronstadt and start listening. I don't know if it's available on other platforms where you can also listen to podcasts, but I know that it is available on iPhones and the podcast app. So if you got an iPhone, look up Ronstadt, go to your podcast app, look up Ronstadt, and give it a listen, because I highly recommend it. As for, I believe it's also available. I believe it's available on other platforms where you can listen to podcasts at, but I don't know for sure. But yeah, if you got an iPhone, go to your podcast app, look up Ronstadt, and listen. Listen, if you want to, that is. Not forcing you all to do anything. But before you do that, make sure you like this video and give it a thumbs up if you really like it. Make sure you give it... Yeah, screw it. Yeah, make sure to like this video and give it a thumbs up if you really like it. Yeah, that's what we're going with. Screw it. That's how we're gonna say it. That's how I'm gonna put it. And if you really like me, consider subscribing and ring that bell so you always know whenever I upload, because it's free. Don't be a dum-dum. Subscribe. Deuces.